This is the Jabberjaw Podcast Network.
Welcome to Friend or Foe. This is Devlin Wilder, as always, and I am very excited right now to welcome one of my oldest friends, actually, who I didn't catch up with for nearly 16 years until yesterday, and she's now here in my studio, and I'm very, very just overjoyed to welcome Paulina Ortiz Mena. She goes by Polly. But yes, how are you? How are you doing?
Hello, Devlin. So nice to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Of course, of course. And we've gone on quite an adventure.
Yes, we did.
Polly and I traveled in a group called Up With People. They are an international multicultural organization that travels across the world. Currently, they cross 2 continents, I believe, in their current casts.
Yes.
Performing a show, staying with host families, and also
volunteering
wherever they go. Mm-hmm. It's a truly amazing organization. They've been around since 1965. Their genesis was a moral rearmament group, but they've come a long way since then, since Sing Out. We all took our own journey during our years, and our year was so special in so many ways. It was actually one of the last full casts before Up With People completely changed their program.
Oh, yeah.
Which was also very amazing.
Yeah, they shortened it to only six months instead of a year.
Right.
Yeah, well, it was definitely an experience that changed my life. It was so important for me to live it and to experience the traveling and getting to know all those different families. You know, that was one of my favorite parts.
Mine too.
Actually, to experience all those different breakfasts and
oh my goodness,
all those
the
different
breakfast.
Beds and
wow, that's one of my most vivid memories of my entire life is my first European breakfast with my Swedish host family. And listen, guys, I'm a cereal eater. I always have been. It's just my routine, you know. Ever since I was little, I would get up, I would make a bowl of cereal and watch cartoons. This very, very kind and sweet Swedish family, they had these 2 kids and they were having cereal, and I was like, oh great, this seems very American-esque. I'm gonna have, you know, some cereal with the kids, and then they went to the cabinet to get the milk, and I was like, that's very interesting. And, you know, she popped the little tab, and she's not so much pouring it on the milk as it just like plopping onto the cereal, plop, plop, plop. And so it's more like yogurt, more or less, than it is milk. And that's just seems to be their thing. And so I
that was in that family.
It was in that family, yes.
Every family is a different culture. That's
absolutely. Yeah. So what is your most vivid or favorite host family story?
Wow. Well, oh God, it's hard to pinpoint only one, but I like all those synchronies that happened to me on the road. Like, for example, my name is actually Diana Paulina, and I actually stayed with somebody that had the same name, Diane Pauline. I was very scared of not ever getting married, for example. Mm-hmm. Right now I'm not married, and I don't know, maybe I will someday. But I was scared of maybe not having kids or being alone. You know, I didn't know what I wanted to study. So in that experience, I got to live with actually host moms or whatever that they didn't ever get married, and they were so happy. And it was nice experiencing that role model for me. You know, it was it was very educating, I guess, or
Oh, absolutely. And that was what was so great about, you know, it not only put us awash in all these wonderful cultures. It's such a different thing to go from learning about it like in a textbook, you know, in a classroom, and then being right there in it,
right,
you know,
right,
and experiencing these people's lives. I mean, and we were thrown right in it, and sometimes doing volunteer work with the families.
Yeah, I come from a family, well, from a culture, not my family in particular, although a little maybe, but we have very set roles. You know, woman cooks, stay at home mom, or maybe work a little, but basically take care of the kids. Dad goes out and works, and sustains a family. So I got to experience families that had different roles. You know, like this chef that cooked all the meals in the house, and he wasn't a stay-at-home dad, but he, they split up all the work like most cultures. I mean, not most, but a lot of cultures do nowadays, and even in Mexico now that's changing. But experiencing that, being with somebody that actually does it, like you say, instead of just learning it. Oh yeah, that exists somewhere, or you
Right.
can read it in a magazine or whatever. But actually being there and sharing the feelings and sharing the beliefs that they have, and actually, you get to see different lifestyles.
You really absorb it while you're there, and oh man, I was talking with you yesterday about a host family that I stayed with that lived on a farm, and they were an older couple, and they would wake up very early to feed the chickens and the cows and things. So they would be waking us up at 5:30 or 6 a.m. Of course, after we had just did our big show the night before and didn't get done taking down the set until whatever it was, 1 a.m. or whatever, and then they were ready to go, and I was like, oh, zombie man. I was just ready to fall over. Those are the experiences that just made it so great, and seeing so many beautiful countries. We traveled through, our first semester was here in the U.S., Midwest and Northeast United States, and then we traveled through Sweden, Germany, Austria, Belgium, Spain, Netherlands, and Portugal. And we had all these little mini groups that would shoot off to other places, and I actually stopped in the Czech Republic very briefly, so that was quite incredible.
Yeah.
It was only an afternoon, a very brief afternoon that we got to stop there, but that was pretty amazing.
That was.
Did you go off on a study group?
No, I didn't. But I on spring break, actually took a trip by myself. The first trip by myself ever. I was 19. How old were you when you traveled?
I was 19 also.
You were 19 also.
Yep.
So
seems like a lifetime ago, because it kind of was.
It kind of was. So I had been working on an advanced team that was, setting up for the show and setting up for the city of the group. I was in Austria for a month, and I was a little bit tired of German because the brain works a lot.
Oh yes.
When you're I was there actually for 2 months, because we were in Austria, and then we were in Germany, we did a little back and forth for a little while. Yeah. So it's actually 2 months of German, and there was this awesome deal, and I went to Greece, and of course there was a deal because they had a lot of tourists from Germany, so everybody spoke German in Greece. Of course,
yeah.
And for the first time, I remember, I can decide by myself. What do I want to have for breakfast? I can decide everything. What do I want to do? Right. Yeah, it was an amazing experience the year that we traveled. But I realized in Greece I don't know how to explain it. I was overwhelmed. Too many people around all the time. So those 8 days by myself were like, oh, this is what it feels to be alone again. Oh, this is what my energy is like.
Right.
Yeah. So it was, yeah.
It was pretty incredible though, right? What did you see that you really enjoyed while you were out on your own?
I got to see the castle where Cece lived. The princess that she actually killed herself at some point in her life at the end.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, that she had a hard time. But the castle was beautiful, and I actually went to Corfu. Yeah, and just like nature in Greece is amazing. I really loved it. I think if for your listeners, if you've never been on a trip by yourself, I really
Absolutely
recommend it.
do it right now.
Yes.
Save your money and
Be with
take the
yourself.
journey.
Yeah, take the journey.
Definitely do it.
Yeah, and it can be scary for some people. It was for me. It was very scary to be alone for the first time, and I guess I've always been scared of being alone, and now there I was alone, and yeah, I highly recommend it, even if you're scared.
For sure. And sometimes that makes the greatest journey.
Yeah.
There's a song called the Sunscreen Song that actually was popular while we were traveling, and there's a great line in it that's do something every day that scares you. I totally subscribe to that because it pushes you past your safe zone and helps you to broaden your horizons.
Yes. Step out of the comfort zone.
That's
that
right.
Was one of the lines
Keep your
that we
eye
heard
on the ball
every day.
That's right.
Oh yeah. Step out of the box.
Man, I don't even know. There are so many places to go in conversation about how much we did that year, and we touched on a lot of it yesterday when we met up. And I probably should have saved it for the show, I suppose. But it's so wonderful to see you after so long, truly a lifetime ago. And we also had the 6-week staging, of course, in Denver, and boy, talk about really getting to know people very, very quickly. And really throwing you into the lion's den, so to speak. So for 6 weeks, Up With People sends you, I think they still do it the same way. They, everyone meets up in Denver, and you practice the songs and learn about everything that you're going to be, all the places that you're going to be traveling to, and all the wonderful people that you meet, and all of the get to greet all of the international students that you will be traveling with, and it's quite a thing. And Polly is, are you Snapchatting or Instagramming?
I'm going to share this with our cast later on.
Oh, good. Oh, wow. Okay. Hey, cast A, how's it going? Moving totally to another side of the sphere. We could go on and on for days talking about our year and all the experiences that we had. And were you, I'm going to get right to it. I think I asked you yesterday, but I think we sort of bounced around it. Were you in a cast couple during our year?
I was with Willem Dan, remember?
Oh, yes.
From the Netherlands.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, yeah. That was a short cast couple as well.
Yep, I was in one too.
I found out yesterday.
There was a lot of breaking of rule number 9 in our cast.
Oh yeah, we had rule number 9.
Yes, rule number 9, and no
sex
sex
on the road.
That's right. And it was strictly enforced, kids. They did not joke around about it at all. And
No.
we had a very frisky cast, honestly.
Yeah.
People were getting in trouble all the time.
All the time. There was a cast couple that got expelled.
That's
They're
right.
married now. They have
sure are.
plenty of kids. Hi, Tony. Hi, Heidi.
Yeah. Hey, guys.
Yeah. And then there were, of course, the ones that never got caught or whatever. Still married.
That's right. So that's actually a great transition to talk about the other thing that we were discussing yesterday, which is the reason you're here.
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, sure. I'm actually here because I'm a coach, and right now I'm doing a specialty in sex erotic blueprint coach.
Please explain.
Yes. Well, we have 5 different erotic languages that we all speak. Most of us have 1 or 2. There are some of us who have 5, but most of us have 1 or 2. And those languages is the way we actually can enjoy our sexuality. We tend to think that we are all very sexual. And what I mean is these 5 languages, one of them, it's called sexual. The other one, energetic. The other one, sensual, kinky, and shapeshifter. And so I'm going to briefly describe each of them.
Please.
So the first one, sexual. And that's the one we all tend to think sexuality is like, because that's the way we've been believed to think. We've made believe or whatever. That's how the industry works, the cinema, the publicity, they all sell sexuality like that. And this is very oriented to orgasm. And the people who are sexual, they get very turned on just by direct, either direct touch or direct language. So I want to have sex right now. If you're sexual, that turns you on. If you're energetic, for example, that's a different one where you don't necessarily search for orgasm. You can make love just by a gaze, just by looking into someone's eyes and just breathing. Most energetics are empathics, so people that can feel what the other person's feeling.
And as we touched upon yesterday, we are both empathic. So
right. Yes.
we very much feel the energy of other people around us and tend to know when people are not telling the truth. And if there is negative energy in the room, we almost instantaneously pick it up.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you don't know why you're feeling sadder, or like I was telling you yesterday, I didn't know why I was crying. And, I found out later that the reason why, and most of the time empaths, they realize that they're empaths because they don't understand why they're feeling that way. Usually when you have the question, why am I feeling this way, it's because it's not yours. Most of the time it's because it's someone else's. So yes, energetics definitely are empaths. Most of them, not all of them. They long when there's distance. Energetic people need distance. As for example, the sensual one, they need more touch and more. It's more like hugging and cuddling and massage. There can be an energetic massage, but it can be energetics need more space in their touch. As for sensuals, need more more of a firm touch. Sensuals enjoy the ambience, the look, the smell, the touch, and the music, for example. And they can be thrown off by the wrong smell or the wrong music. And then there's the kinky, which we were talking about this yesterday.
We sure were.
The kinky likes exploring limits and likes the forbidden and the taboo. And there's 2 sides of the kinky. There's the psychological one, which only likes to talk about it or explore it in fantasy or in imagination or in a talk with their lover or by themselves, I guess. And there's a physical one who actually likes to be tied down or who actually likes to experience, role playing, or there's a different variety, and there's a huge shades. There are many shades of
sure, it's an entire spectrum. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then there's the shapeshifter who speaks all the languages, and the shapeshifter can be thrown off also by the shadow of each language, because of course each erotic blueprint has a shadow as well, And so the shapeshifter is one of the most rich languages, but it's also it can be hard to be a shapeshifter because sometimes you need all of them, and sometimes. If you get connected to the shadow of all of them, it gets harder.
It gets very complicated very quickly.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, that is so very interesting. We didn't touch upon that yesterday. I'm so glad you brought that up. I was actually speaking with my previous guest, who is very sex positive, and I was telling her about my particular fetish, which has to do with transformation, and not as in a furry. Furry has erotic attachment to people in suits, usually animal suits, creature suits. Whereas my particular fetish has to do with the transformation of someone into an animal, which, werewolf, of course, is the go-to example. And it's definitely not bestiality. I'm not attracted to the wolf. I would not want to do anything with a wolf or a pig or anything of that nature. That actually grosses me out quite a bit.
No judgment here.
I know, this is a safe space.
It is.
The transformation of a person into an animal. And I touched on the fact that I psychologically addressing myself, it's probably that I have longed to become someone else for so long. And I think it very much addresses that. I think my psychological precipice is I'm always trying to get outside of my body, which is why I have come so far mentally, spiritually, definitely sexually in the last 5 or 6 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're actually taking a workshop, right? Tell me a little bit about the instructor and the story of tracing the instructor to this amazing class that you're going to be taking while you're here.
Yeah. Of how I met her, you mean? Yeah. Well, I was actually searching for tantric massages, which in Mexico they're illegal. In most countries they are. I don't know. It depends here. It depends on the state. And I just met a friend who was taking a course about tantric massage, and so I was searching, and law of attraction and YouTube. Once you search for something, it gets
Of course.
So I stumbled upon her, and she was just so open, and she was so open and very clear about sexuality. So I really liked the side that it wasn't something dirty, or it wasn't porn, or it wasn't like that. It was refreshing and shameless and very clear language about sex. She was actually, I think she was talking about female ejaculation, and I was like, wow, she can. She was very explicit how female ejaculation worked and how you could achieve it, but it wasn't dirty or anything. So it was. This was 8 years ago, and I started following her on social media, and then I read her story about her poly family and how she actually was in a couple, going study with somebody that was polyamorous. And she was polyamorous herself as well. And she wanted to have a kid, and he didn't. And so he said, well, why don't you go have a kid with someone else? And so I was intrigued by this story.
Absolutely.
I was like, what? And I guess, so she did. She went, she didn't break up with him. He was, she was still going out with him. And then he got pregnant with this other guy. And so the story that I read was, how they all lived together in the same family, in the same house. The first guy, his first couple, was a stay-at-home dad, and the other guy went out and worked, and so she could dedicate her time to be a sexual educator. And the kid was there, and they each have their own room. Of course the kid has his own room, and then the two guys, each of them have had their own room, and she had her own room, and she got to choose when when she wanted to sleep with who and whatever, and they got to schedule date nights and stuff. So I was intrigued about the diversity, and so I followed her ever since. And this January, she opened up a coaching program, a certification. So I started taking it, and I've been taking it ever since. And we're about to finish, so I'm here. I'm here for one of the last classes before we actually finish. Yeah,
That's incredible. You've already learned so much, and it's wow.
Mm-hmm.
So then, are you going to start doing you're already coaching?
Yeah.
Are you going?
Yeah, I've been a coach for more than 8 years now. Usually I did life coaching and executive coaching. But I teach Kundalini, which works with sexual energy as well, and I've studied Taoism. I'm in the process of being an instructor as well, and so I'm very familiar with sexuality already, and so yeah, I'll be working with couples and as well with individuals, men and female, to help them get a juicy and hot sexual life
and fantastic orgasms.
Exactly.
I've done some studying and practicing of orgasmic meditation myself, and it's brought a world of wonders to, well, I'll leave it at that. It's a world of wonders. It really is. It's if you are a practitioner of yoga or any of the meditational arts, it's definitely one of the best ways to bring that mental freedom into the bedroom and have some really great fun with your partner, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah. And there's something I always like to remind people. The best sex starts with self-practice.
That's right.
Self-love.
You know it.
Individual practice, as we say.
Right after
now.
the show. Too much information.
Yeah, it starts with our own sexuality.
That's right. You have to be able to find yourself before you can find yourself in another person.
Yes. Yeah, you have to be able to see yourself before you can see someone else.
That's right. Wow. It has been truly incredible having you here on the show. Thank you so much for joining me
Thank you.
For sharing all of your amazing stories. And I know it's very rare that you happen to be in the States, but when you are, please join me again. And we didn't even get to talk about your owl visitor. Not owl, I'm sorry, hawk. You had a Harris hawk who has
In my office.
in her office, then didn't just visit her one time, but 2 different times in the same week. Guys, you got to go to her Facebook and check out these videos. She live streamed this hawk visiting her, and it's just chilling, hanging out,
Yeah,
talking
they're
to
also
her.
on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter.
Yes. Please tell
On
our
Twitter.
listeners where they can find you all across the
Well, you can
across
find me
social
on-
platforms.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter with Poly. That's only one L, O-M, Poly O-M. That's my Twitter, and yeah, that's basically the one.
Great. Excellent.
Great. Well, thank you for the invitation.
Of course, always. Doors always open. And Zig, thank you so much for engineering the show. As always, you can find me, Devlin Wilder, across all platforms at Devlin Wilder. And this show, Friend or Faux Pod, that's F-A-U-X. Please subscribe and listen on iTunes, now Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Play, and very soon to be iHeartRadio and Amazon Video. Thank you so much for joining us. See you on the next one.
Visit jabberjawmedia.com for more shows like this one.